Okay, now we're kind of on the track of Dutch rifles. Let's bring up the Dutch M95 long rifle that I have here. I did a video on this, so you can search my channel and it'll be on there where I take a close look at this rifle. This rifle was made in Steyr in 1899. It's not perfect, I'm not matching it, but it is a good solid example and it has a good bore on it. And as I shoot it later on in the video, you'll see. Okay. Now, somebody, when I did the videos on these guns, just doing the history of them and that, somebody, oh, what are these wall hangers? Nobody shoots them. Well, whenever I do anything, I try to develop the ammo. I try to take my time and do it right. And I worked on this, developed the load, got something done, and there was one other person or one other channel out there. These fellas do they reload for the 6.5x53mmR Dutch Mannlicher. He does bring up the point, I'm using PPU brass. And there's a slight problem with PPU, and it's 303 British brass. I got the PPU brand because it was the least expensive and it was all new and I could get 100 cases at a time. Instead of buying from people once fired, the different things, 20, 30. So I went with it. But there's a problem with when you reload it, and he brings it up in a video. The base is a little too thick, so I had to file and polish this. So if you look at some of these cases, and you see like this one here where the back end is polished, that's because I had to work on it a little. I did not do a video on loading this cartridge because it's a little bit complicated and I broke it up, didn't have time to sit down and explain it, but I will. So now we'll go into the segment where I shoot the gun. Now at Hammer Range that day, the rifle range was extremely crowded. And there were a bunch of people around me. They had a bench rest match coming up. Some guys are there. And there was a fella next to me breaking in the barrel on a 6.5 Creedmoor AR. And he's like taking one shot, cleaning it, letting it cool off, taking another shot, which, hey, that's great. But the problem is when I start speaking to the camera, when I'm on the range with other people there, one time I was shooting and saying something and talking, and the guy turns around, what, are you talking to me? He walks right over, moves the camera out of the way, comes up to me, what did you say? So I don't speak. And you'll see that in the first mag, I'm having trouble loading the gun. Well, what it is, these clips, I have this old clip where the paint's all peeled off and chipped that I've had for over 40 years. It works fine, and that's the second string I showed. And I bought a whole bunch of these clips that somebody just repainted them. I forget if it was from Sarco or Gun Parts Corporation had a bag of them, like 10 of them for a set price. So I bought these 10 clips. And when I was loading the ammo into them, everything was going in that, the clip's fine, except one was hanging up a little. And sure enough, because there's debris or paint or the paint blistered and the rims catch in the groove, sure enough, that's the first clip I put in. So that's basically where the problem is. But the gun kind of functions fine. It has a little bit of a weak following spring. And the clips, God knows where they've been, and I really haven't used any of them. But the one does function correctly, and I got a little bit weak follower arm spring in there, which is a huge flat spring. But other than that, the gun functions cool. So we'll go to the shooting end of it, and then we'll come back, we'll look at my target closer. I do look at it towards the end there. But we'll look at the target and the cases and the ammo and talk more about the ammo. How's it going? Looking pretty good. Alright, 6.5 Dutch. After a little bit, a couple mistakes here, got acclimated to it, put a full mag in a black at 100 yards. And that's not too shabby for a gun built in 1899. Okay, as you can see, the load I developed works out good. The last 5 I put in the black at 100 yards. I had two here fumbling with the clip and all that other stuff, and probably lost one somewhere, probably down here. But all in all, the second 5 I got in there, it was hot. I'd done a lot of work that day, so I called it quits and saved the rest of my ammo for another day. And you see there's a close-up of that clip. They're painted. Where this one I've had for years. All the paint's chipped off and that, it works just fine. Leave them alone. And also, like I said, there's another video where they reload the ammo and how they do their case form. They skip the annealing part. Now as you look at some of these cases, you can see where I had to file that down at the base there and that, but that has no effect on it whatsoever. It works fine. Then once you do that modification, they'll reload, clean up nice, and work all right. Another thing is important, you have to anneal the cases. Because I'll give you an example. It didn't happen in this rifle, but that Dutch carbine that I had has that weird chamber. And if you look, it kind of blows that shoulder out, and see, it shortens it up. And I put one in there. I must have forgot to anneal or was working on, didn't finish. And see, that's where you get these ruptures, like you see there, because where that blew out, it cracked. That's what caused that, is the case wasn't annealed. Split in there, split there. It had a little split there where it expanded out. So annealing your cases is important. But I will do a video on reloading for this when I get the chance. And it all comes out good. These are nice shooting guns. They're a lot of fun to shoot. Low recoil, accurate as hell. Okay.